Hey guys, so I track the meta and changes a lot, right? It's half the point of the channel really looking out for buffs, nerfs, or shifts with new builds, but there are just some champions that no matter how hard I look, I cannot really find a build that makes them good in Season 8. That means they probably just need a set of decent buffs to help them, right? There are loads of champions that could need small buffs, like a Kahlan or Jinx, for example. They are okay in the hands of good players, they still do fine, but they aren't crazy good. I did have a list of 20 champions before I cut this down to 10, so there are way more I think actually need a buff and need some help. Half the point of the video really is to hear what you guys have to say, so comment down below with who you think needs one. Number 1 is Lucian, Riot's favorite punching bag recently. Lucian is now really a mid laner, or a top laner if you ask Cooney, but Riot don't really want him to be, so he's kind of stuck. He goes mid lane because he is so ability based, and solo laners get more experience or get it faster, so levels faster, ability ranks faster, and their damage faster. He needs a buff really to be an AD carry again, to scale with crit or something like that. At least he can dominate the lane phase, that's what he's supposed to do, and then fall off afterwards, like a Kalista. The last time he actually got a decent buff was in 7.1, literally a year ago. It's about time for another one, I think. Number 2 is going to be Victor, and the new keystones have left him in a bit of a rough spot for now, even more than before actually. Part of the issue is that he doesn't have a positive win rate until after 40 minutes into a game, but he can't really get to that point. The last buff he got was in patch 6.9, seriously the mid-season mage update 2 seasons ago. Since then, only bug fixes and nerfs. He does come in and out of the meta just naturally anyway. He's quite a good champion to main, but he hasn't been in for a while now. Number 3, Rumble. This one is pretty different. Rumble has been getting buffs over the course of last season, not nerfs really. Well, actually, no, nerfed in some areas, but then buffed in others to compensate at the same time. He still can't really find his place, and the only champions he can beat consistently in Season 8 are all pretty weak anyway, like Tryndamere or Galio. He only seems to work if he gets ahead, but he's just not spitting any fire recently. Number 4 is Ventibear. He has actually no phase in the game where he wins more than he loses right now. That is a really depressing stat. He's hardly played. He's not very good when he is played. That's not really a good sign for our little Yogi. I think his kit is just a little bit outdated when everyone has a jump or a dash now and he has to run at people. The saddest part is he actually got buffed last season and he did nothing. Before that, he only had 2 changes in Season 6 as well. Maybe he needs to put on the rework table, but I kind of hope not actually, because I like the idea of him. Tryndamere is very similar to Master Yi, who we're going to talk about afterwards, but basically the top lane version. Trynd players apparently have tried 9 different keystones this patch, and all of them have below a 50% average win rate. When people are trying literally everything to make a champion work and it's still not, I really think he needs a little bit of help. The new runes really just messed him up with no further, basically. He had just 1 direct buff since patch 3.13, Season 3, but he has been fine before Season 8 and the rune rework. Next up, as we said, Master Yi, everybody's favorite low effort jungler. You can tell when this guy is too weak, when even in bronze, he just isn't that good anymore. Yi is hard to balance, because if he's good at higher elo, like on stat websites and everything, he will be broken at lower ranks. That's just the way it works. Now, still, when you can earn the most gold out of any jungler in the game and not be able to use that gold to win games, something has got to be wrong there. Shyvana and Udyr, I think, are what Yi is supposed to be like and what he needs to be like. Lissandra's next up might not look that poop at first glance if you have a look at websites and stuff. Actually, she does look kind of poop, but she preys on weak laners. So if you stick a Victor or a Syndra next to her, she'll do pretty well picking on those weak guys, but against stronger champions who are meta, she really starts to struggle. She's like a burst and lane poke champion, right? And yet has pretty bad damage numbers actually, so she obviously just can't really do her job properly at the moment. The last minor buff was back in 7.8, but before that it was in Season 5, so it really has been a while since Lissandra was taken a look at. Those 7 I think are the ones that need them the most, but then the 3 we have left are struggling as well. Kahlan, for example, to start with, either seems broken or just really not that good for solo queue for us. The nerfs that came in last season bent her over and really ruined her. Her early game is just too weak now. She struggles fighting unless you play it perfectly, and that's what solo queue is about. She's more of like a lane control champion, PvE, tower taking machine. That is great, especially for high ranks and pro play, but when it comes down to fighting, she just can't do as much. Even though we just saw Gregus in the LCS, I think it was yesterday, he has 7 keystones used in solo queue right now, and only 3 of those can get just above a 46% win rate. That is pretty grim. When I was taking a look at him, it seems like his early game is just too weak now. Sounds kind of weird because he used to be a gank machine, but like a 45% win rate until 25 minutes before it goes up just a little bit. He is a really good team pick. He can engage really well, but he was just nerfed into the ground. The last one for me is going to be a little bit controversial, I'm sure, but Syndra, I don't think any of us want to be back to the skill button days of pressing R and deleting people 100 to 0, but still, she's really suffering. 46% win rates on all of her keystones. You can't even push higher with what should be working for at the moment. On some players, you can do okay, but letting your opponent just take Nullifying Orb for free now in Season 8 means you've got to do like 100 more damage to somebody than normal. You pair that with a Hex Drinker or a Mormal Mortius with the shields from Relic Shield and stuff like that. How do you even kill people anymore? Or even Stopwatch, actually. Use it when she presses R, and that's a one-time free save, so she can't snowball. Those are the top 10. As I said, there are loads of others, like Aatrox, Mordekaiser, Quinn, and others like that kind of fit into that bracket. I think probably just need a rework, not a buff. Draven is another one who just missed out, honestly. Kleptomancy and Avery are kind of keeping up with him at the moment, but much weaker than before after losing further battle. He definitely needs some kind of help for sure. Nunu has a buff on the PB. Cassio is hard because Hyla people are still winning a lot with her at the moment, and even Galio mains are still winning games. Let me know who you think also needs some love though. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.